Okay, well, welcome everybody to the Hexham Town Council on the 12th of December 2022. We'll keep it warm after a really cold blast that we've had the last few days. So, first item on the agenda is to hear any questions from Hexham residents regarding matters relating to Hexham. Is there any? Thank you.
The 800 Market Charter celebrations, the Lantern Parade, the Christmas lights switch on, the Christmas fair, the 24 farmers markets per year, all of these have been very successful events, attracting hundreds, if not thousands, of people to Hexham Marketplace. Including, of course, lots of little children, especially for the Christmas lights switch on and the Lantern Parade. Do town councillors agree with me that it's neither sustainable nor desirable to keep having such successful events with traffic running through the marketplace? And would the town council concede that it was a misguided approach to ask NCC Highways to close the marketplace to traffic only for such occasions, allowing traffic to flow freely across the marketplace in several directions at all other times? Would the town council please look very carefully at the proposals for marketplace outlined in the Sustainable Transport Plan, which I believe is coming to the town council next month, and agree to resurrect the marketplace plans from 2016, particularly the plan that achieved 9 times as many votes as the do nothing approach that we seem to have currently? Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody, John, that you mentioned the Sustainable Transport Plan, would you like to?
Yes. I think one of the interesting things, Wendy, is that we've got a different sort of definition
Yes.
with NCC and ourselves as to what the actual marketplace is. They seem to think it's just the shambles. We think it's the huge area. Well, it's the larger area. It includes the Abbey the Abbey flags, that's it. Yes. But yes, all of the councillors here have had a chance to look at the Sustainable Hexham Transport Plan since the beginning of October, I think. And yes, it does include a section on what we should do with the market. That kind of mirrors what was proposed a number of years ago now. And I hope that we can look at that, accept it next month, and carry it forward into the future. And I hope to see at some point in the not too distant future, the marketplace actually closed to traffic, apart from residential and business users who might need to fill up their shops and whatnot at various times of the day.
Yeah, well, I agree absolutely with John. This is something we all believe in as a council, and I know that. And I'd like one event where we have not pulling people out of roads for us on the marshalling, and it's frightening how close some of the cars come. I do have a plan based on Roger's suggestion to take to council, at least for now, that events that are foreseen say a year in advance are bundled together by an organisation, so that the legal fees are at least, they're reduced for town councils anyway, but it would mean that you could do a bundle for a year, and that would be shut off, and that could be the same for farmers market. Planning to take that suggestion to full council meeting early next year. So that would be at least a start. I know we wrote permanently, we did look into it in 2015, and it didn't happen. And that is yes, it's a marketplace. And these things in York and Harrogate, when we have the events, they don't have pedestrians dodging cars. It's just a nonsense that we don't use that space to its maximum pedestrian potential.
Sorry. I should have mentioned that myself, 2 grandchildren, and father came to see the 800 celebrations And we were told it was great. We never actually saw it because we couldn't get close enough. And if we hadn't had the traffic coming through, all of the spectators could have spread out so much more, and more people would have had a chance of seeing it. It's such a waste of time. People were turning up because I can't see anything, and then going on. A lot more people would have enjoyed it if it hadn't been for the traffic.
Okay, right, so we have a sustainable transport plan coming to our meeting in January, so we've got a little bit of time to consume that and consider our views and then make a decision on that. So that's good. Any
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In reference back to the town council meeting on the 14th of March this year, there's an item about grass collecting in Hexham. It was stated it's due to expand. I was just wondering what progress has been made on it. You know, there's must be lots of elderly people who can't go to these skips and deposit glass and it's just dumped in the bin and just goes to on the tip. And then there's cars go down to the rental centre and increasing pollution, which I've heard many members of the council crying about the pollution in the atmosphere. And I think I said it once before, the county council have had a system going for many years where they collect it readily at the door. You know?
I'll be coming on that one. I wouldn't get the hopes up, Barry, on that one. Yes, they are. The class collecting in county council does include Hexham East and a number of other areas, but not many. In the county, the county has said it will expand, but it is not very adventurous. There is the view from the county council is that they are waiting for a sum of money and an initiative to come out of central government, so they are holding back, which is not very adventurous. It seems to be driven by money as opposed to, doing the right thing. I've always been of the opinion is yes, do pilots because you learn from pilots, but pilots are for short term, and then you start delivering. County council doesn't seem to be looking that way, and so it's rather unfortunate attitude, I think. Suzanne, would you like to say anything?
Yeah, I tried to get an extension for some residents in Hexham East where it runs, because I'd assumed that her area was in when I first started this job, and it wasn't. So I went to the new areas as they were developed, and I was told that it was a very limited scheme and it was dependent on central government money coming through to expand it, and that's all I know, apart from what I've heard of the local area council. I mean, we could follow, give them a prod again and see if the money has come through, because we're still waiting on the levelling up fund from November as well. And I don't know if that was a part of that bundle. I've heard nothing more. So we've got our meeting tomorrow, so I could ask
So
the name of the team there.
rest assured that the member of the county council is progressing.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Thank you.
Very good, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, sorry.
Sorry. The last meeting I mentioned about the block drains in the town, going along towards the cemetery, and everyone's severely blocked, and I was just wondering if there was any feedback. Was there a system that exists where there's some regular inspection or periodic inspection of these things? And who and when they decide to require a cleaning. I was out about 2 or 3 weeks ago, there was a torrential rainstorm, and the street was washing like a river, especially when you're on banks, a lot of the tends to water touch the floor. I was just curious as to what system prevails for the council.
Yeah, so I contacted the county council straight away after you mentioned the ones on the West Road and along the West Road facility. So that's okay to be done. The system they operate is a peculiar one, but largely I would say that anybody is contact the councillor if you see a block of drain, highlight. If you see the nearest lamppost, you will see a reference number on that lamppost, EGH123. And that gives us a reference to say, look, that lamppost, there's a drain near that lamppost to be cleaned. I wouldn't class this as for the West Road because there's not that much like park traffic on the county, a little bit of defence for them. Is that if cars are parked on or near the drain, then it's kind of impossible to clean the drain. And other companies have different rules where you're not allowed to park near drains because of sanitation. But there's a new gully wagon, isn't there?
Yeah,
there's two new gully wagons, but I mean, obviously, no hundreds of big old kids. So, yeah. Hopefully, we'll struggle, I'm afraid, that one.
Right.
But we do try our best to but it is. But I do appreciate that you highlight these things. It's very important. Yeah. Thank you. Right. Okay. Apologies for absence. So, yeah.
Councillor to be spelled, Councillor Travis Esford, and Councillor Stephen Bell. All even.
Do we have any other absences? No, is that right? Okay, that's good. Right. Declarations of interest. Anyone have any declarations of interest? No. Okay. Next item to agree the minutes of the council held 14 November 2022. So that's, I'll just go through so that's page 1, page 2, 3, page 4. Okay, Commissioner saying, right, signed, and any matters arising from those minutes? Right,
Can I just ask, sorry, beg pardon, I'm reading it on my phone. Can I ask about 8027? It says Hexham Club were to take a motion to Northumberland County Council. I think that was me asking the question because we passed a motion here about how we wanted to be included in and informed about decisions that are happening at county council level that affected our major assets, like the middle school. And I asked the question about where these motions go and whether there was a route to the county council, but so that they know that this reflects the opinions of the town council.
Okay. So is that a question or is that a statement?
Well, no, because I don't think there was an answer to it. I think because I'm on the Hexham Hub, I think I was asked to tell them.
Yes.
But I'm sort of asking that it's a follow-up to the question that was asked then.
Yes.
Is there any route where, we've passed quite a lot of motions about things we think are important. Do they ever get to the county council? And if so, what the route is?
That's a good question.
It's the same with the motions at county hall, unless they're sort of followed up on, they do tend to just disappear in a puff of smoke. They've kind of got to be, from what I've witnessed this year, they've kind of got to be chased. If you want them to follow up, so there's a few good motions when I first went to county council, and it relies on the council who made them to almost chase them up with wherever they're intended to go, or whichever offices they're intended to go to.
Yes, my question is, where do our motions go as a town council? Presumably, if we're making a statement to the town council about the county council, we might like them to know what we're saying.
But are you not taking that up to the Hexham Hub?
Yeah, but I think it needs to go further than that, doesn't it? Does it not? Is there not a place where motions passed by town and parish councils that are relevant to county councils go?
So I think the answer to that is well, that's something. So that motion was aimed at the Hexham pub. I think what was said was that you should take that motion to the Hexham pub because it was aimed at the Hexham pub who looks over the strategic assets of the county council within Hexham. So I think that was the appropriate place to take it, rather than saying I remember the chief executive and then it tries to go through some sort of filtration system and down. It's just that direct route. So I don't think there's a strict route, as in, comes out of the clerk and goes to the say, for example, chief executive of the county council, or certainly, we would task you to take that to the Hexham pub, which you did. Yeah.
Okay.
John.
I think this flags up a lack of communication, once again, between NCC and ourselves. And there are a number of occasions when we thought, well, where did that come from? For instance, only recently we've had a transport warning disruption to the transport system on the Armadale Road. And if you read the small print from there, it's putting in so-called safety measures on the Armadale Road. I appreciate that some of our county councillors might want those safety measures, but we as town councillors probably don't. And I mean, I'm not making too much of that particular instance, but yeah. I think it would be great if we could communicate regularly with officers from NCC, such as transport or planning. So, do we have to go through our county councillors to do that? Or could there be a separate system?
There is a move in NCC to have closer links with parish councils. So that was stated a couple of months ago. And I sent the invitation round to you all regarding a meeting with officers from all the different areas at the end of January. It was the 26th. I can find the email and resend it. And we had to RSVP to let them know we were interested in going to Mark, but I heard nothing back. Now, I'm happy to go and check out where the email went, but I was quite excited because it sounded like they were reaching out to us, and I think it would be a really good opportunity. It was a really good date. I will go and look at it. It's just occurred to me. But that was mentioned at the Quality Summit that we went to in October, that they wanted to work closely with town councils. So I will see where that email has gone, and I will resend the invite to everyone.
Good, thank you.
Yeah, just on the back of that, just through experience, the county council has, for many years, had reached out as far as it can to parishes. I remember when the Unitary Authority came about all those years ago, and it recognised the districts were coming up out of the picture, so there was a bigger distance between small parishes, very large county, and they were trying to put things in place. And the communities, I think it was the belonging communities was the title. Never really, it just seems to be these things need to be an injection of energy every so often, because they just seem to tail off, and then it needs another injection of energy to try and get relationships going again. I think from our point of view, I think the town council is quite fortunate that it has three members of the town council are actually members of the county council as well, so there's that relationship is inherent between, because you hold those two roles. Whereas, for example, if you were in a smaller parish, you're very unlikely to have the county councillor on your smaller parish, and then you've got that as a bigger relationship needs to be built up between it. But it's a good point, it's a very good point. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, just to follow up on that, our town council was praised quite repeatedly at this in Quality Summit. I have people coming over and saying, how is it that Hexham's so buoyant, how do you get things done? So clearly we do have a whole, and the whole of that equality summit was about empowering communities. There was a talk by Cormac Hardy, who's written a very good book on, where coming from the bottom, from the top down. It's how to help people to help themselves and using networks within communities to do that. We asked a lot of questions. It was really informative conference, and I don't know if they recorded it, but it would have been worth seeing because it was a brilliant presentation. I can send you all the information that I've been sent through about it. And that was when we started to realise how important it was to really use good local networks and good, hard-working, progressive town councils like ours to kind of reach out to community, plus the community that weren't being hit.
And just on that item, on the holiday road safety, the three county councillors, we discussed this with the officers, and we were all much in agreement that we would like to see a raised crossing point on the Allendale Road where the current crossing point is zebra crossing. So we're actually raised, and similarly raised across the Hexham junction at the Allendale Road again. Just to have some sort of like some slowness. We've got that as a part-time 20 mile an hour area. So those are very positive safety attributes coming in. There's also the resurfacing of the Allendale Road, which have been held off for some time. I've spoken to officers for over a couple of years on this, and it was quite rutted, but it was decided it was wiser to allow all the work to be done at the high school, where lots of heavy vehicles are going backwards and forwards, rather than resurface and then have lots of heavy vehicles going over it and then damaging it and then having to do it again. So that's the reason why that work's being done most necessary. But I have made it clear to county council officers that we do like the introduction of this raised crossing points, and actually this should be seen as a good example of what we would like to see in other parts of the town, is that all crossing points should be raised, because it just creates that that table effect where you have to go slower because you come to a crossing point. So it's all good. That's a good thing. Right, any more thoughts on that? Good. Next item. Mayor's announcements. Right. So we had the Hexham Community Partnership Pledge, which the Hexham Town Council played a big role in it as well. We had the Lantern Parade, which is just such a fun time, and it's great to just watch all the kids with the lanterns, marching down back street, and then you have the Baghdadis playing the set in the shambles, and watching the kids dance and everybody else dancing. It's just wonderful. So that was an estimation that there was 800 people who attended that this year. So it's the second year this has been held, and it seems to be going from strength to strength. There's talk of having one in 2023, maybe changing the date because it does fall quite back to back in the November-December period. But really successful. I attended the official opening of the Coach and Horses pub at Priest Popple. A lot of money has gone in from the Heritage Action Zone, and we've all played quite a significant role in influencing what we want to see with the Heritage Action Zone, and it's just great to see something happening. Actually, you hear about these initiatives, and sometimes you just don't see the endeavours of what that comes about, but actually we've seen something here. So we see a pub that was just being closed for years and now is a fantastic public house. I think they've done a fabulous job on refurbishing it, and it seems to be going very, very well. All the time aspect, and it's really nice. So that's good. We welcome lots of other things on that heritage action zone. So 2023, and then it ends in April 24. So there's only 16 months to go to do an awful lot of work. I think that'll be it. It's going to be a lot of pressure time on that. But it's going to be very exciting watching all that work come to fruition over the next 16 months. We had the fantastic Christmas light switch on, our biggest ever, the biggest one I've seen by a margin. So I think it was estimated that there was 1,000 people in and around. All seemed to go very, very well. We didn't have Storm Orland, which was a bit of a shame this year, but it all seemed to go extraordinarily well, very well ran. We had the biggest ever Christmas tree, so Tom, if you can thank your employer for a great tree that they bought. It's really, really nice, and it's in its rightful spot, of course, after some conversations. So that's wonderful. So following that, it was on to the cinema, where the cinema had come to several councillors and asked for a grant toward a 4K projector. Their projector had been a good servant, but it was its time, its lifespan was now up, and there was a need for some £56,000 toward a new projector. So I was happy to say myself and Suzanne and Trevor made a substantial contribution towards that sum, along with some very generous benefactors, and the cinema now has this amazing 4K projector, which puts it into right where we need it to be. It's a top quality cinema. So that's good, and hopefully that'll last for some years to come. On next item is that the happiest town. We are now the 4th happiest town in Great Britain. Yeah, all thanks to me. I lost the crowd. So no, we're still the 4th happiest town. I mean, obviously it's a bit of a peculiar thing. You take it when you read, but 4th happiest town. So that's an excellent result for the town. We were the only town in the North East to be in the top 40, which is saying something. And just shows that we are doing lots of good things as a town council, alongside our partners and obviously everybody else who actually lives in the town, like the education and just the general happiness of the town. So that's a positive thing. I don't say it's a negative, I say it's a positive. Obviously, Claire Mwandi, who was our officer for the last 12 months, she's now taken a position with the cinema and becomes the general manager of the cinema. So we wish Claire well. She did an excellent job in the time she was with us. But let's say again, let's say this is a glass half full, and it's somebody who we can work with on making that relationship with the cinema a positive one. I'd also like to welcome you to Daniel Mayhem. Would you like to take us into the say hello to everybody? So Daniel's mum contacted me and said, could Daniel spend a couple of days in the Hexham Town Council just as work experience, and so that's going to happen in December. So that'll be nice. So that's good. So welcome, Daniel. Right, that's my mayor's announcements. Any questions? Good. So the council payment, we've had a bit of an issue, so that will come in the January, so we'll get that chased up, and there'll be a fuller list in the January. I need to receive an update on Row Hexham project.
Yes, thank you very much. Claire, before she went to the cinema, managed to secure over £5,000 funding from the National Lottery so that we can continue the Grow Hexham initiative for another year or more, basically until the money runs out. So that's really good. And we are at the moment working very closely with Transition Tyndale in order to plan what we want to do together, because obviously their interests align absolutely with the Grow Hexham project. And so we're working in partnership and around the community garden. We're working with number 28 and we're also working with Edible Hexham. So we're using the sort of fallow months to make a plan. We've got a meeting on Wednesday where we'll finalise what it is that we're going to do in the subsequent growing seasons. But I think this partnership is really important because the aim of Grow Hexham always was as a sort of facilitating wing to some extent, because in Hexham there are lots of organisations that share the same concerns around food. So we are planning at the moment.
Any questions for Ben?
How many gardens and gardeners have we matched up so far?
Well, not as many as we hoped, and it's been a very interesting process. I think one of the things that we underestimated in a way was that a lot of people on the allotment waiting list are hobbyist gardeners, and I don't mean that rudely, but basically they don't have a financial need in terms of growing vegetables. And it became quite clear that it was the social aspects of being on an allotment that was really important. So we've slightly shifted our focus to look for pieces, and we've got some actually, of what I call public land, more public land where 2 or 3 grow patches could be set up, like the community garden, or places where that are more outward facing rather than going into somebody's private property. So it's been a different experience to places like urban projects like these, where quite often the gardens are out the front, and also the shortage of land is really critical in a city. So we're looking at different ways to get people to grow their own food, not necessarily through that brokerage system, although we have got people all the time slowly coming online. And my prediction, but it's just mine really, is that I think as things get tighter, the grow vegetables will not be just a sort of hobby for a lot of people. And so we're trying to lay the foundation of actually, through number 28 in their gardening classes that they're running and projects that they're running, alongside them equip people so that come in spring they can actually grow food that they need rather than just the food that they want. So there is a report actually, it's on the Grow, should be, well, it's circulated, but it should be on the Grow Hexham website, I think, about our findings in relation to that caring. That's how it started down. But the parts of it have been really successful, like the tool scheme where people bring them and they're refurbished, and then people can just take tools and use them. That has been really successful. So there's little pockets that we're trying to consolidate and work out how they fit together now. But the pairing of the gardens didn't happen quite the same way that we anticipated.
Evolution. Thank you.
Thank you. Right. So the next item is item 9, and that's to agree the full council meetings dated as follows. So to follow the continuous second Monday in the month, So it's 9th of January, 13th of February, 13th of March, 10th of April, 8th of May, 12th of June, 10th of July, 11th of September, 9th of October, 13th of November, 11th of December. Is everybody okay with those dates? Does anybody want to bring up I know we've had this discussion before about the August.
Okay, so,
That's all right. No.
Can I just, I've just been through them, and that 8th of May is actually the additional bank holiday for the King's coronation.
So that would be that one, the spot. So and becomes coronation of King George III, so that becomes 50. Everybody okay with those dates? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Right, to note the minutes of committee so we have the planning and infrastructure meeting held on the 13th of December. 2 pages there. Is there any, are we content to approve these, and is there any?
Well, that date's not.
yeah, there's yours, that's right.
15th. Yes, oh yes, we'll have it. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry.
Obviously.
What did?
Oh, it's tomorrow.
Should be November, sorry. It's also actually 13th of November, yeah.
Just a question on item 1919, proposal to consider construction of a bicycle layer. Sounds quite interesting. If there's any feedback or any,
Yeah, I will be there. I'll answer that question then.
Yeah, thanks for that. So yes, I've held 2 meetings with parish councils up and down the valley. We've been looking at active travel routes, so not just cycling, but walking as well, and making it accessible. And a number of town council and county councillors have expressed interest. We've had representation from Port Whistle all the way to Prudhoe. So we've had a second meeting, and the second meeting Sustran attended as well, which is good because they've been slow to kind of get off the pot. But Rod Albrook attended. He's been working with Guy Opperman, because Guy Opperman is quite interested in the Newcastle to Carlisle route. So I think I've had a discussion with Derek and with obviously John Sloan, who's the chair of the group. So I think a few names popped up, but I sort of spoke to Bob, who's just basically done all the legwork from Newcastle to Carlisle, looked at all the different routes, and also sort of their proposals as well, because I think part of the work is working with local people, with local knowledge, because even though somebody could sit in an ivory tower, so we've got quite a lot of local knowledge, and he's done quite a lot of legwork. So obviously it's not been selected between the clerk and John to pick a person, but certainly I'll be fielding for Rob to potentially consider amongst that. But there's quite a lot of interest, and also I think it's going to bid for levelling up funding for 26 million for this highway, but it all depends what happens in this month if the government approves it. So but if it's not approved, then we've got enough sort of legs in our group. I hope that we can potentially bid for some kind of progressive route where we do it in pieces maybe. So there's a lot of interest in that.
I remember for the town council, we've always tried quite hard to get a cycle route from Hexham to Corbridge. And we obviously haven't really succeeded, so it's great to see that it's being taken up again, and hopefully we can obviously even further all the way to Newcastle.
Absolutely, Mike. So we'll probably on that one, Mike. We all want you to succeed. Just keep us updated. It'll be great to hear as things progress on that one, because that'll be brilliant if we can try and connect along the Valley Floor, all the way to Newcastle, and all the bridges. Fantastic, well done, sir. Right, any more on that one? Right. There is some other committee meetings that was a little bit behind on getting those minutes prepared for, but they will be done with the relevant chairs and also fair with the finance and general purposes, and Penny, you starting with the community engagement one, you may well have a chat with Lee, just to get those minutes they could read. So we have myself and the clerk had a chat today, and we just worked out the protocol. Right. Good. So to note any correspondence received.
Typical, I've actually not actually printed this off. It would be the usual ones that we put on, which would likely be can e-news, rural services network bulletin, and else Northumberland CD support services e-bulletin. Can't think of anything else. Sorry.
Right. Okay. So finally, it is the any urgent matters. I don't have any urgent matters from any other councillor. So that is it. So all I will do is just wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and thank you for all these members for 10. Enjoy the last 12 months of the council, and we'll yes. I hope you've enjoyed your time on the council. So with that, I'll say thank you very much, and we'll